Book of Heaven, Volume 6. The 2nd of June to the 22nd of July 1905. Page 85 to 90. June 2, 1905. Patience is the nourishment of perseverance. This morning, on coming, blessed Jesus told me, "My daughter, patience is the nourishment of perseverance." In fact, patience keeps passions in their place and strengthens all virtues, and by receiving from patience the attitude of continuous life, the virtues do not feel the tiredness that inconstancy produces, which is so easy for the creature. So, the soul does not lose heart if she is mortified or humiliated, because patience immediately administers to her the necessary nourishment, and forms in her a stronger and more stable bond of perseverance. Nor does she push herself too much if she is consoled and elevated, because as patience nourishes perseverance, she contains herself within moderation without going out of its boundaries. In addition to this, since patience is nourishment, and as long as one nourishes himself it can be said that he has life, that he is not dead, in the same way, as long as she has patience, the soul will enjoy the life of perseverance. June 5, 1905. Crosses are baptismal founts. This morning, on coming, blessed Jesus told me, "My daughter, crosses, mortifications, are as many baptismal founts, and any kind of cross which is dipped in the thought of my passion loses half of its bitterness and its weight decreases by half." And he disappeared like a flash. I remained there, doing certain adorations and reparations in my interior, and he came back again, adding, "What is not my consolation in seeing, redone in you, what my humanity did many centuries ago?" In fact, everything which I established for each soul to do, was done in my humanity before, and if the soul corresponds to me, what I did for her she does again within herself. But if she does not, it remains done only in me, and I feel an inexpressible bitterness. June 23, 1905. One who is united with the humanity of Jesus finds herself at the door of his divinity. Continuing in my usual state, I was thinking of how Jesus Christ died, and that in no way could he fear death, because, being so united with the divinity, or rather, transmuted into it, he was already safe, like someone in his own palace. But for the soul, oh, how different it is! While I was thinking of this and other nonsense, blessed Jesus came and told me, "My daughter, one who is united with my humanity already finds herself at the door of my divinity, because my humanity is mirror for the soul, from which the divinity is reflected in her. If one is in the reflections of this mirror, it is natural that all of her being be transmuted into love, because, my daughter, everything that comes out of the creature, even the movements of her eyes, of her lips, the moving of her thoughts, and all the rest, everything should be love, and done out of love. And since my being is all love, wherever I find love I absorb everything within myself, and the soul dwells safely in me, like someone in his own palace. So, what fear can the soul have, in her dying, of coming to me, if she is already in me?" July 3, 1905. Declarations of Jesus regarding the state of Luisa. Continuing in my usual state, I found myself outside of myself and I found the Queen Mama with baby Jesus in her arms, giving him her most sweet milk. On seeing that the baby was suckling milk from the breast of our mother, I removed him very gently from her breast and I began to suckle myself. On seeing me doing this, both of them smiled at my foxiness, but they let me suckle. Then, after this, the Queen Mother told me, "Take your pretty little one and enjoy him," and I took him in my arms. In the meantime, noises of weapons could be heard from outside, and he said to me, "This government will fall." And when touching the tip of his finger he added, "Just another fingertip." And who knows how long this fingertip is for you? But he did not pay attention to me, and since I was not really interested in knowing it, I said, "How I wish to know the will of God with regard to me." And he told me, "Do you have a piece of paper? For I myself will write and declare my will about you." I did not have it, so I went to look for one and gave it to him. And the baby wrote, "I declare before heaven and earth that it is my will to have chosen her as victim. I declare that she made the donation of her soul and body to me, and since I am her absolute master, whenever I please I share the pains of my passion with her, and in exchange I have given her access to my divinity. I declare that in this access, she prays to me every day for sinners, continuously, and she draws a continuous flow of life for the good of sinners themselves." And he wrote many other things, which I don't remember too well, therefore I leave them out. On hearing this I felt all confused, and I said, "Lord, forgive me if I render myself impertinent. I did not want to know this, that you have written. It is enough for me that you alone know it. What I would like to know is whether it is your will for my state to continue." And in my mind I continued, whether it is his will for the confessor to come to call me to obedience, or rather, the time I spend with the confessor is my own fantasy. But I did not want to say it, fearing that I might be wanting to know too much, convincing myself that if one thing is his will, the other must be his will too. And baby Jesus continued to write, "I declare that it is my will that you continue in this state and that the confessor come to call you to obedience, as well as the time you spend with him. It is also my will for you to be caught by the fear that your state may not be my will. This fear and doubt purifies you of every slightest defect." The Queen Mother and Jesus blessed me, I kissed their hands, and I found myself inside myself. July 5, 1905. The humanity of Jesus is melody for the divinity. Continuing in my usual state, I was continuing my usual interior operations, and blessed Jesus, on coming, told me, "My daughter, my humanity is melody for the divinity, because all my operations formed many keys, which formed the most perfect and harmonious melody, such as to amuse the divine hearing. And the soul who conforms to my same operations, internal and external, continues the melody of my very humanity for the divinity." July 18, 1905. The soul must not open her interior to others, only to the confessor. As I was in my usual state, blessed Jesus came for just a little and told me, "My daughter, when a confessor manifests to the souls his way of operating in their interior, he loses the drive to continue to operate. And the soul, knowing the purpose that the confessor has over her, will become negligent and nervous in her operating. In the same way, if the soul manifests her interior to others, in revealing her secret her drive will evaporate, and she will be left all weakened. And if this does not happen when she opens herself to the confessor, it is because the power of the sacrament keeps the steam, increases the strength, and places its seal upon it." July 20, 1905. When the soul is not faithful to the will of God, God ceases his designs upon her. This morning I was praying for a priest who was infirm, who had been my director, and I was thinking to myself, had he continued my direction, would he be infirm or not? And blessed Jesus, on coming, told me, "My daughter, who enjoys the goods that are present inside a house? Certainly those who are in it, and even though someone has been there before, only those who are currently in it can enjoy them. For example, as long as a servant remains with his master, the master pays him and allows him to enjoy the goods which are in his house, and when he goes away, he calls another one, pays him and lets him share in his goods. So I do. When something is wanted by me and is left by someone, I transmit it to someone else, giving him everything which was destined for the other. So, had he continued your direction, given your state of victim, he would have enjoyed the goods pertaining to the state of the one who currently guides you, therefore he would not have been infirm. And if the current guide, in spite of his health, does not obtain everything else he wants, it is because he does not do fully what I want, and even though he enjoys some goods, yet, certain charisms of mine he does not deserve." July 22, 1905. God does not look at the work, but at the intensity of love in working. I was feeling annoyed for being unable to make certain mortifications, as it seemed to me that the Lord abhorred me, and therefore he would not permit me to do them. And blessed Jesus came and told me, "My daughter, one who really loves me never gets annoyed about anything, but tries to convert all things into love. For what reason did you want to mortify yourself? Certainly for love of me. And I say to you, for love of me mortify yourself, and for love of me take the reliefs, and both one and the other will have the same weight before me. The weight of any action, be it even an indifferent one, increases according to the dose of love it contains, because I do not look at the work, but at the intensity of love that the working contains. Therefore I want no annoyance in you, but always peace. Because in annoyances, in disturbances, it is always the love of self that wants to come out to reign, or the enemy to do harm.